Hi friends, Rusty with you here on this Sunday afternoon. We are live coming at you here, Central Florida Weather Live. Good to see everyone again. This is the real deal. Got to track a couple of showers and storms here. Thanks for joining me. Just wanted to keep an eye on what's going on in this Sunday afternoon. First real true stream that we're doing with a couple of showers and storms here in Central Florida. I don't expect anything to get very rowdy for today, but this is a great way to kind of ease into the wet season. I wanted to come on, wanted to track these storms together, to show you again what the system can do, and to be quite honest, get a little bit of experience myself for us here. And again, you know, as we get closer to the wet season, this is going to be what I would assume to be a fairly daily situation. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us here. Hopefully you have the notifications on. That's of course when you know when I'm live. I see there's a couple of folks streaming in right now. I do have the chat up. I have a tablet here right off screen, literally almost in front of my face. So you're more than welcome to drop something in the chat and let me know. I appreciate it here. Let me just make sure I have all the messages up. So if someone actually just wants to send one quick message in the chat so I can make sure that I've actually got the right screen up, I'd appreciate it. Like I said, we're still working out some of the kinks, but there's not many. We've done a lot of testing here and I'm excited to bring this to you. So the first thing I want to talk about here is just what's been happening for today. We've had some showers roll off the Atlantic coastline and they develop inland. Now, one of the things that I wasn't, hey Nathan, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Some woman named Sarah McCraney has decided to enter the chat. Not really sure who she is, but I imagine she's pretty cute. Hey Kenneth, how you doing, buddy? So what's going on here is we've had a few showers roll off of the Atlantic. No lightning. Now, when I showed you guys the test last Wednesday, one thing that we've already added here to Central Florida weather is live lightning data. And I'm super excited to show you that. If you look at the top of your screen, you see there's no lightning strikes here. It's in this view. But if I zoom out here a little bit, there's some storms that are rocking. Oh, you know what? I got to put on the next red. Hang on. Let me throw that on. Do you notice that the lightning strike count goes up to 40? So we're able to show you now live lightning data in all of these views. Super excited to bring that to you guys. Obviously, in Central Florida, it was a must to be able to have the live lightning data. So that's another thing that we have added here already to Central Florida weather. Super excited. But at this point in time, there's no lightning. Now, what I believe is going to be happening throughout the remainder of the late afternoon, early evening is these showers will be tracking off towards the west. And as they do so, we could see them line up across I-75 and bring a few showers and storms. Hi, Nancy. How you doing there? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Let me get rid of the composite here. And then again, we're looking at the radar out of Melbourne. So a couple of spots I've been monitoring here. We've had a nice little cell up in Lake County, up towards the Astor area. And again, everything at this point in time is just kind of developing and not really moving very much right now. Most of it has been trying to kind of eke off towards the south or even push back south and east. But again, you can see up the 75 corridor there in southern Alachua County near Micanopy. We've had a few more showers, and I actually think that if we get a little bit more, it'll be right across I-75. And again, I can show you some of those high resolution models coming up. Good to see you too, Kenneth. I appreciate you. Hi, Noble Pills. Thanks for joining in as well. And again, coming on, not because I expect anything's going to be very intense, but wanted to jump on because I got to tell you, where I live, the sky's pretty dark right now. And just keeping a looking at things, I think we're going to continue to have some activity this afternoon and certainly some pockets of heavier rain. Obviously, on a Sunday, folks want to be, outdoors. The other thing is the winds really picked up. So all of these numbers that you see on the screen, like for Ormond Beach right now, on over towards Edgewater and the Sanford Airport, those are wind gusts of the last hour. So if your area has had a wind gust, it'll be kind of flipping on and off right there. And you can see that. So downtown Orlando at the Executive Airport, 23-mile-an-hour wind gust. We've had some decent rain around the 408 Orla Vista, Pine Hills. Nice little shower here. One area, obviously, that I'm going to keep a really close eye on here is, of course, going to be the attractions. A lot of folks down there. Right now, they're dry, but some of this activity is trying to slip down the 429 and the I-4 corridor. Nice little shower there over Windermere. And again, if you have a specific question about the forecast or a specific area you want me to cover, let me know. By the way, 91 That's the turnpike. That is the FL91 is the turnpike, and there's the interchange there with I-4. And again, pretty wet in that area right now, and that is slowly drifting off towards the south. Again, no lightning with any of this at this point in time. Another shower has kind of developed on the far eastern sides of Lake County. Montverde down 27 towards Claremont, trying to sneak back into western Orange County towards Oakland. We had a good shower south side of Apopka a little bit earlier for today, and that activity has drifted to the south. Places like Ocoee and Winter Garden have had some rain for today, and then everything kind of continuing to kind of drift. But again, some of this activity will pick up a little bit. If you live on the south side of Claremont there, 27, you can see some of those heavier showers just kind of drifting on down right now. And again, I have what's called our storm cell tracking mode on. So if I pause this, if I see an icon, it will actually let us track that storm. I mentioned that to you guys the last time I was on. At this point in time, there's nothing intense enough to warrant any of those icons. I've been kind of monitoring that, but from time to time, we'll get some of those and we'll be able to, again, take a look at some of that cell data if these storms get a little bit stronger. Little shower right now over portions of 46 in Mount Plymouth and just west of I-4 there. Places like Lake Mary, Wekiwa Springs could get into the act, and it's going to get wet from time to time over the Seminole County area of I-4. So these cells are fairly isolated in nature, but there's been some good downpours. And again, it's just a sign of things to come. We were here in early May. We're getting some of these showers coming off of both coasts. Obviously, the wet season is going to start to ramp up here a little bit more in earnest. But just, again, glad to come on with you guys and track these storms live. And again, deeper into the summer that we get, things are going to be rocking and rolling here. At this point in time, these are the showers that are going on. And again, if you're just tuning in, all of the numbers are the actual wind gusts. That's kind of another one of the big things here. We've had some pretty good wind across the area. So even towards the Sanford Airport, which hasn't had a ton of rain at this point in time, you can see that the winds and the outflow boundaries from these showers and isolated storms are still relatively significant. The interesting thing is, even though they marched east to west earlier in the afternoon, they're now actually trying to drift back towards the east. So now, as I'm looking at things, the I-4 corridor could get back into the act. Obviously, with the heat of the day, it's been pretty steamy for today. We take a look at current temperatures as well, throw those on. And again, obviously, it's a bit of a rain-cooled 84 degrees in downtown Orlando right now. At OIA, it's 88, Sanford 88, Leesburg coming in at 86. DeLandon at 84. It's been beautiful along the coastline, hasn't it? Daytona 82. And again, a few showers developed along the coast earlier, but I think it's going to be interesting to see if these cells want to try and interact, and again, how close to the attractions that it comes. And again, this is one of the benefits here at Central Florida Weather Live is we're streaming live, and if you know anyone in these areas who may not be watching, you can give them a heads up, especially down towards the attractions area. So many people down there. At least there's no lightning out of this, and this one cell just east of Windermere there looks like it does want to begin to fizzle out. But again, you can see that we have high resolution street level tracking available here at Central Florida Weather Live. That's always nice to be able to kind of get into your area. And again, these cells, we can track those literally second by second, and it doesn't have to be a particular city. We can look at all different things. I can manually track them if I want to as well. So again, a lot of different things that we can do here. This cell is going to be crossing back over Lake Apopka. And so I do believe my friends in Oakland and Winter Garden, we're going to get wet here on the western sides of the county. Let me pause this real quick. We don't have, again, a particular area that the algorithm that we use here is saying, hey, look, here's a particularly really rough point of this cell. But let me get back over here, and I'm going to bring up the radar controls real quick. Let me just make sure. There we go. All right, so I'm going to bring back on storm cell tracking mode here, and we can take a look at this. So it does look like with this particular cell, it's pinging on a little bit stronger just south of Colonial there, just south of 50, east of Claremont, moving to the southeast at around 29 miles an hour. Oh no, 9 miles an hour. I was going to say that was going to be way too fast. So let's get back on here. So again, I can click that, and then we can actually track it. So again, a lot of data here that we can look at with these individual cells. And it gives you a good idea, again, of when these storms really get more intense, what's going to happen. So now this is saying, look, it's getting stronger. The hail probability has jumped slightly to 30%. Hail size will be less than a ½ inch. So if this core right along 27 wants to try and drop some hail, it's probably going to be pea size. But again, no rotation out of this, nothing like that here. And again, as we move off to the south, I'm going to see if I can actually get this to track the time for me here. For some reason, it's not cooperating there. Let me try it one more time. Let's see here. Lots to learn, but this thing can do so much. I'm so excited for you guys to see it all. So again, storm cell tracking mode on, activated. There it is. Okay. It's not fully doing what I would want it to do right now. I'm going to try it one more time. All right. Huh. It's not giving me a time of arrival. That was what I was looking for. I could just track that minute by minute, but that's okay. I'll figure it out while it's not exactly cooperating doing that. But that is the biggest game in town right there, right across 27, moving off to the south. Now, obviously, we're getting into some relatively rural areas. The biggest thing, more than anything, is does part of this cell want to drift over the attractions in the Lake Buena Vista area? That's what I think is going to be the biggest one. Isolated rain, but it's pretty light in nature right now from Orla Vista back down towards the Windermere areas. And again, just Oak Ridge, Pine Castle, Pine Hills, few light showers there, but it's cooler at 84 degrees there in Orlando. And by the way, these are all reports that I can just literally put my mouse over and we can get exactly what the information is out of it if I hold the mouse right there. So there you go. Again, that's just coming from the airport. So you get the idea. We got ourselves an east wind at 15 and dew point of 66. That's not horrible for early May. So again, one little cell here. This one's moving off towards the east. And again, this one is the one that might be crossing the Lake Mary area here. And again, slowly doing so, potentially some very small sized hail. No rotation expected out of that one. Again, that's not the concern for today, but it just shows you what that model can do. I'm gonna switch back over to the wind gusts, by the way, so we can keep an eye on if there's any other gusty conditions. Again, Sanford last report at 25. I saw a lightning strike, right? Thought I saw one. Must have popped out and popped back off. Right now I have it set for only show me lightning strikes over the last 15 minutes because when we get into the wet season and that count goes up to around 500, I don't want it to be too high. Again, great to see you guys here at Central Florida Weather Live. Wanted to just come on and I wanted to test a couple of things out. I wanted you guys to kind of get an idea of what to expect in a real situation when I'm tracking some showers and storms. Look, even if they're not intense, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Just to get you an idea that when you're out and about and you have the YouTube app or you're at home and you get the notification that Rusty's on, this is what you can expect. And again, you are more than welcome to ask me any questions in the live chat. I'm happy to answer those. Obviously, if you live in a particular area, just let me know, and I'm happy to talk about where it is. Now, again, sometimes it's moving so slowly right now. It really does look like it's having a tough time figuring out exactly where these things are headed. This one generally moving off towards the east right now, and again, only around 11 miles an hour. I want to see here real quick, while we have a second, if I can bring on, I wanted to bring on the times of arrival here. For some reason, that's not tracking for me. It might be, to be quite honest, because the last time I saw one, it said that a cell that was headed to Oakland was going to arrive in 106 minutes. I think it might be they're so slow moving right now because there's no actual true forward speed. These guys are just blossoming, that I think that the algorithm is not painting on that time because it might even be beyond the parameters, if you will. That's what I had to guess, because I don't think there's anything that I've changed with it since I was last on Wednesday. But I always wanted to show you that as a possibility as well. But it'll come back when it's necessary. But you get the idea that these are drifting. I think that's the easiest way to put it. These are drifting. Again, nice little core right there down 27 in Lake County, and it's beginning to slip over 429, so Oakland, and then back down towards the far southern sides of Winter Garden and like the Hamlet areas down here. And again, here's the attraction, so we'll see just how close it is. As a matter of fact, one of the things I could do here real quick is let's bring on our spatial tool. I'll be using this from time to time as well. Now, by the way, I can label roads if I really wanted to, if it was that important. So just to give you an idea, like let's say I'm tracking a tornado and we really have to get down to the absolute street level, I can do that. All right, just so you guys know. So, you know, if we're really getting into we need to get to street by street, I can bring on this, and you can see that as I go over a road, it pops on, I can click it, and then it will stay. Actually, I have to draw it and then let it go. But you get the idea that I can do that if it becomes necessary to do something like that as well. Now, I hope I can clear it. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at how far away this cell is. So that's the first thing. Let's see here. I want to measure the distance. There we go. So we're about what? About 11.5 miles away. That cell coming in. And again, we'll see if it drifts over the area. And I am honestly playing around a little bit myself right now. I think this is a neat thing to be able to do when we're in this situation where nothing's too intense. But again, a few things to talk about here. Central Florida Weather Live. Thank you so much for joining us again. Drop in the comments below. And if you're here, give me a like. I'd appreciate that. Again, first true stream where we actually have a little bit to talk about. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. I just want to make sure that when I drift back over, yeah, I'm still getting the road names. Let's see. Do I have to end the spatial tool? We'll figure it out. Oh, here we go. Stop. There's so many sub things that this thing can do, and then sometimes these menus are not the most intuitive, or there's like menus of sub-menus because there's so much going on. But again, just shows you what we can do here. Let me throw this back into motion. You're looking at the live radar out of Melbourne right now. And again, we're seeing this little blow up in the northern and eastern sides of Lake County. Nice little cell. It's falling apart a little bit, but it is trying to get back over towards Sanford. Most intense one right now is certainly, again, back over here into portions of Lake County. And again, we triggered little cell here action. So let me pause that real quick, bring that up and see what this cell is doing here, because this one is ramping up a little bit here. So we've got ourselves a south moving at 13. We've got a 20% chance for hail. The intensity has come up a little bit. Now, okay, now we can track it because now there's enough forward speed. So this is what I'm talking about here that we can do. Say you lived in this area, and I can absolutely just come out here and say, okay, this is how long it's going to take for this to move in. Now, I want to be clear that it's moving so slowly right now, you know, it's going to take a while to get anywhere, but you get the idea of where and how this will be moving here, basically right down 27, and then the times of arrival. And of course, all the information with this cell is right here. If there are any lightning strikes, they would come on, and we will have some animations of those lightning strikes as well. But again, the opportunity, I think, to ramp up an isolated an isolated storm here, absolutely possible out of what I'm seeing. I've got the spatial tool on, so let me get rid of that. A lot of different things, again, we can do here. Let's see. How's everyone doing today, by the way? Did you guys have a good weekend? My wife is starting a new job tomorrow, and we took her out to lunch, and super excited for her, by the way. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this darn thing to stop. Clear. Yeah, I guess just do that, right? Is that going to go away now? All right, we'll figure it out. I won't mess around as much as I have been. I promise. Oh man! All right. So this little query right now is actually how strong the cell is. So the higher the number that you see, the more intense the cell. I want to get back over to the tracking though here. So there we go. There we go. All right. So again, just taking a look at things here, you notice I mentioned again what's going to be happening across I-75, and you're starting to see the beginnings of that. And this was really what I was kind of interested in for the rest of the day, is that we might have the opportunity for some stuff developing on 75, and we'll see if they get a little bit more intense, right? We'll see if those showers and storms just get a little bit more active for us here. Again, putting this into motion over the last half hour, and while I'm thinking about that, let me put on the timestamp So you can see that we might have to, I'll talk to the guys behind the scenes. The live breaking banner is over the timestamp, so we'll have to adjust that. That's okay. Like I said, a lot of moving parts here to make sure that we get it right. But I got to tell you, super excited about the opportunity to come on here live and again show you that, guys, these storms. The other great thing about it too, of course, is that there's no geographic boundaries on YouTube, and again, there's no show times. Don't have to worry about anything like that. We can track west to east, we can track north to south, and we can stay on for as long as we want to as well. And certainly when things get more intense, that's exactly what I plan to do, right? When these showers and storms are really ramping up and we've got some hail, we've got some intense lightning, we've got some isolated flooding, I want to bring you guys all of that. I am going to do something real quick here. I'm going to reset the computer for just 1 second because one thing wasn't cooperating and I want to make sure that I'm able to do that. So give me just 1 second here. I'm going to bring it back up. It'll come back on and we'll get right back into it here. There we go. Only takes a second to do that, which is why I don't mind just being like, you know what, I'm going to stop it for a half second and we'll get back into it. All right. Again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Rusty. It's a pleasure to see you. Central Florida Weather Live here. Wanted to just come on and look at a few different things and track these showers with you. Again, nothing is expected to be very intense for today, but just to have the opportunity to have some actual showers and storms here in Central Florida since we have launched the channel, and to be able for you guys to see what I can do here and for me to have an opportunity just to get some experience with everything works. We'll all learn together, as they say. And again, if you have a specific question about the forecast, drop it in the comment section below. I am absolutely happy to answer it for you. I'm going to bring back on our radar information here, and I'll make sure that we are in our storm tracking mode. And again, this is the one cell right here that I want to make sure I keep an eye on. The latest information is that we have a south movement at 13. Hail probability is 30%. Hail size around 1 inch. So now it's not saying just a ½ inch. It is saying a potential inch, or excuse me, it's not saying less than a ½ inch. It's saying 1 inch. Now it's still very marginal hail, but it's also beginning to develop and get a little bit closer to the attractions. I would imagine those folks right now at the Magic Kingdom are looking to the north and the west and they're going, all right, what's going on there? Well, that's one reason why we're live, because again, if you know anyone at the attractions right now, you can give them a text, you can give them a heads up and say, hey, look, I'm watching a live stream, Rusty's tracking these showers and storms. That is beginning to move a little bit closer to you, and I can put that into motion. It's kind of slowly expanding. Now, obviously, we hope that the cell stays off towards the west. But the interesting thing is, besides this cell, all the other ones have been trying to sneak back east. This one looks like it's trying to hang right on 27 and then maybe move north and west. And this little cell right here has developed even a little bit more off of 33. So again, these are relatively rural areas of South Lake County, but that's a pretty intense shower. Now, again, there is no lightning with this. We do have our live lightning data running right now. If there's a strike, we would see it on the screen. But at this point in time, there is no lightning associated with it. Again, when I zoom out here, just to give you guys an idea of what it looks like, I would have to put back on the composite radar, and I'm happy to do that. You can see where we actually have some actual lightning here. So I can put that into motion, and from time to time you guys can see where there might be a lightning strike here or there within this. And again, there is some icons and animations that go along with it as well. As a matter of fact, probably the easiest thing to do, if I bring on this, yeah, I just take off the radar data. So to give you an idea, that's what it looks like. It might be kind of harder to see in this gray, actually, just right there. I can make those icons a little bit bigger too if I have to, but obviously you don't want to cover up the screen, but that's where they are. And the numbers that you're seeing, those are live wind gusts. So the other big thing is, even before we had some rain at my house, caught some of these 20, 25 mile an hour winds, right? And that's another big story as well. Okay, let's get off of the composite radar here. We'll go back to the Melbourne radar. That's a decent little sell there, down 27. And again, drifting into relatively unpopulated areas. There's a couple of communities down there. I don't want to discount those. Obviously, the 429 these days is very populated on both sides, except when you get closer to Lake Buena Vista and the Disney property. But again, that's a pretty healthy storm that's going to be moving through those areas. Oakland, my friends in Oakland and Montverde, we've had some rain move back into your area. Again, no lightning at this point in time, but certainly some scattered showers in the area. They're moving off towards the east right now. The rain has begun to fizzle a bit over the downtown area, Oak Ridge and Sky Lake and Pine Castle. More than likely just a couple of thicker clouds and maybe a few blow off little sprinkles here and there as well. Excuse me one second, I'm gonna get a quick drink. And we'll move on. Let's see what's going on with this cell here up in the Sanford area. That's certainly weakened as well. A little bit of an isolated rain coming back over Lake Mary. So Lake Mary and Sanford, gonna get a couple of showers. Yeah, we might be starting to get our first few lightning strikes pop up here as well. Let me look real quick here. I'm gonna bring on the lightning data. Just take a look at a couple of things here. Let me pause here, go live, and we'll see here. So I can bring up the icon size if we need to. Still haven't gotten the first strike here, but we might shortly. And I think if we're going to get a strike or two, it's going to be coming from right there. That's certainly a more intense cell, no doubt about it. Again, you have a specific question, you want me to look at a specific area, let me know. I am taking this opportunity to work behind the scenes a little bit and try a couple of things, to be quite honest. But that's why we do this, man. I mean, I'm telling you, there's you guys are gonna get sick of me as we get deeper into summer. There's gonna be hours and hours of coverage here, and so just having the chance here, while nothing is too intense, to kind of have like a live dress rehearsal and to get it all right. I'm happy to do that, but I wanted to come on instead of just doing it behind the scenes so you guys can get a feel, you can get an idea of what this is gonna be like. And there's gonna be a lot more to the stream itself as well. We're efforting a lot of different things, like bringing you live cams, you know, potentially even storm chasing kinds of situations if it becomes necessary. There's a lot more to what we're going to be doing here at Central Florida Weather Live. But again, just to have that opportunity to come on for you right now, test out a couple of things, say hi to my friends, hope things are going well. Knew we'd see a few showers here across 75. I'll be curious to see if this ends up over the next hour or two actually being the most significant. We could actually see some storms over Sumter County and portions of Marion County take over as well. A couple of isolated showers down towards Zephyr Hills and Land O'Lakes. That's nothing too extravagant at this point in time. I've seen a couple of showers near Brandon and Gibsonton. Right now it's been quiet in St. Petersburg and Tampa. Tampa Airport had a 17-mile-an-hour wind, but again, nothing of significant. Strongest winds have been actually up in Cibolo County, Sanford area there, right around 25-mile-an-hour wind gusts. My friends in New Smyrna, 23. Showers continue through portions of northern Lake County, Astor up towards Pearson, De Leon Springs. Again, some rain and storms up towards Keystone Heights and Gainesville. And again, we'll cover all of Central Florida. There's certain boundaries I'll be sticking to, but getting as far north as Gainesville is certainly something that I plan to cover, where Gainesville has a 23-mile-an-hour wind. And again, back down towards Micanopy, southern Alachua County, and into the northern sides of Marion County towards Reddick. A couple of showers developing there. One lightning strike. All right. Let's see if I can pick out where it is, or I might have to make this a little bit. Let's see here. Can I pick out where that lightning strike is? What that has to tell me is that I have to make these icons a little bit more prominent. But that's fine. That's something I can work on. Oh, there it is. So what I'm gonna have to do, you can barely see it. Can you guys see it right there? So the interesting thing is too, is that I've got what's called 3D lightning strikes on, but I guess this isn't considered to be a 3D lightning strike tilt. So normally if I zoomed out, let's see here if there's a, it's interesting because I don't know if it has to do with the radar or not. Let's see, if I take that off and I put on something I do for Media Mundo, if I put on the satellite data, yeah, I don't get the 3D tilt. Like normally there's like a line right there, but it's something for me to figure out here. Again, you can see where we've had a couple of those lightning strikes in a very small little burst there up towards Keystone Heights. So there you go. But I'll have to fiddle around with the with what's happening here as far as getting that. It can pulsate, I know that much, so you can do that. But I'll have to probably change. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make it more prominent. You can see that. There we go. That's a little bit better, isn't it? I love it. We're working things out together. It's interesting though, because again, trying to figure out why I'm not getting the 3D tilt. Maybe it's simply because the map isn't in enough of a 3D mode to be able to prompt that, because I have it more of a flat view as you would want to do when you're talking about covering live storms. So interesting. But again, we literally purchased this data this week because we wanted to be able to bring it to you. So happy that we did that. And again, we'll figure it all out, but you can see it right there. So that's where the one lone lightning strike is in that view. And again, these showers and storms will continue to drift off towards the south as well. And again, I've done a lot of different quote-unquote dress rehearsals, but it's very interesting to come on here live and to try a lot of different new things. And you know, I'm excited to do that because as we really ramp up into the wet season here, this is going to be able to do a lot in a hurry and give you guys the information you need. So I'm really super excited about what this system can provide here from Micanopy South. So now it's beginning to move back into Marion County. And again, this is what I expected. Some of the stronger stuff right on I-75. We're still too far north in Ocala at this point in time, but the ramp up of additional showers and storms continues right along 75. It's still a nice cell in southern Lake County. I know there's no lightning out of it, and it is trying to stay to the west of the attractions. That's good news. It's about 7-8 miles from the attractions right now. And again, that's a very prominent storm, but again, staying just far enough away from Lake Buena Vista. That's the one that I would be monitoring there. Additional storms are developing for my friends in Polk County. A couple of showers there. Again, not storms, rain at this point in time. No lightning with any of this as yet. Being a Florida boy, I just assume as these things get going, there's got to be some lightning in them. But you can see that the intensity is popping up here a little bit more, and they're becoming a little bit more widespread as well. And you can see some of this rain back over Oakland. So the western sides of Orange County are going to get wet. Nice little cell there, by the way, from my friends in downtown Winter Garden, Crooked Can Brewery at the market there. Everything moving off towards the east. So we're getting some rain in downtown Winter Garden. That's going to be moving right over Plant Street and heading towards the 429. Ocoee, you would be next as well. So relatively wet. Rain ending for Montverde. No lightning again, but you're going to want to be indoors for that. Picking up intensity just a little bit there. Seeing that range is still kind of holding on the southern sides of downtown towards Oak Ridge and Skylake down there, down 441 and OBT and JYP, but you know, not a ton of rain with this. Right now we're picking up a 20-mile-an-hour wind out of the OIA airport, but the gusts are coming down. Again, when the number goes away, it means we haven't had a reported gust in that area in the last hour. So any number that you see here is going to be a wind gust at one of the reporting stations within the last hour. You can see we had one of those up there towards New Smyrna at 23. Daytona Beach had about a 20-mile-an-hour wind gust from time to time. And that was the other thing too, a little bit on the breezier side. But these are luckily and thankfully not intense enough to even trigger those storm icon algorithms for the most part, where again we'd be tracking the cells in real time. There's a few things going on. One, they are merging and they're basically not moving. I mean, they're kind of drifting and they're kind of pulsating and weakening back down, but there's not a lot of atmospheric push. We don't really have a lot of strong winds in the mid levels or the upper levels of the atmosphere to really get these things to do much of any forward speed. So again, it's going to stay intense in a couple of spots. It's not in any one big area, but southern Lake County, that's a decent cell there over 27. And you notice again that it's not moving very much. As a matter of fact, the very interesting thing is some of that higher reflectivity is trying to eke back towards South Claremont right now, right over 27. So Claremont might have thought they were done with the rain. Well, it might be moving right back in. And again, notice these three different cells. They're all kind of going in different directions. Very interesting when you have very weak steering currents like this in Florida. You get this from time to time. Let me take a quick sip. Hope everyone's doing well again. Great to see you, by the way. Okay. So again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to Central Florida Weather Live. My name is Rusty McCraney, and I'm very happy to see you again here in Central Florida. Wanted to come on for a couple of reasons. The first thing is that this is the first live stream outside of the high introduction that we did on Wednesday, where we actually have a few showers and an isolated storm to track. Now look, don't expect anything to get very intense for today, okay? I'm not on because I think we're going to have severe storms or even stronger storms. I'm not on because I think we're going to have flooding. But as I promised you, when there are things going on in Central Florida, I'm going to be on. I think it's also a great practice for everyone to come on, and you can get an idea of what you'll expect on a daily basis when we do have storms, to see what this system can do, to see how I cover these storms. You have a specific question about anything going on, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. I've got my tablet right off screen, literally in my face, but the way we have the camera angled, you can't see it, but I can read your comments. Feel free to say hi. Hope things are going well for you here. Feel free to like this as well if you haven't had an opportunity. One of the things about YouTube is that the more likes that we get to go along with the viewership, the more that YouTube will support our channel. The algorithm basically gives others the opportunity, or it suggests our channel to others, the more interaction that we have. And that does include the chat, and that does include liking the video. That all goes a long way. It may not seem like much to click the like button or to say hi in the comments, but YouTube is listening in the background, I promise you. And I can tell you that directly from Media Mundo, that when our videos are liked more and there's more comments, we typically get more views overall because YouTube recommends those videos to more people. And the biggest thing is that just like this channel, people don't know we exist, right? You don't know what you're missing unless you know it's actually there. And so that's one of the things that can help us out as we slowly start to grow here. Okay, friends, this is what's happening right now. And again, you're looking at the live radar out of Melbourne. I can switch to any of the live radars here across all of the United States. We have access to all of that. And again, if you're just tuning in, one feature that we have added here to Central Florida Weather Live, even since we came on Wednesday, is we now have live lightning data. This will be something that I will probably be tweaking in the old icons here, but you get the idea. Couple of strikes up towards Keystone Heights. And again, so we'll be able to track the most intense parts of these cells as they develop. And at this point in time, up in Alachua County, they're kind of drifting off towards the south, and that includes as far west as Gainesville, right down into the northern sides of Marion County. And I do expect I-75 to get a little bit more covered up between now and, say, sunset. And the opportunity, as we get a little bit closer to sunset, where we could still see a few flare-up of a few storms, meaning that there could be a little bit of lightning. We've had a lot of rain. It hasn't been too heavy over Lake County, but there you can see it right there over Pearson and the De Leon Springs area. It's been fading as it's tried to eke back towards places like DeLand and Orange City. If you're driving I-4 that way, you'll probably see some of those cells. Little shower has been able to sneak its way now across I-4 into Lake Marion Sanford, where the airport there reported a 25-mile-an-hour wind gust a little bit earlier. The most intense cluster of showers and storms, western sides of Orange County, southern sides of Lake County here. And you can see that. Now, this particular cell is drifting off towards the east, southern sides of Lake Apopka. There's our friends in Winter Garden. And again, Winter Garden, downtown, Plant Street, It's always busy on the weekends. It's just wet for these folks. I hope they're indoors. No lightning out of that, so I'm not concerned about any, safety situations there, but obviously you don't want to get wet. The shower is going to be drifting right across the 429 Turnpike interchange, going to be moving on over towards Ocoee. And again, it's kind of building off to the south. So Windermere, Southern Winter Garden can get back into a few showers. This is the most intense cell, but again, there's no steering currents in the atmosphere right now. That's one reason why the radar in the background, the algorithm that would track these cells, isn't even putting on any icons right now because these cells are basically drifting. This one is almost trying to curlicue back north. But I gotta tell you, this has been situated long enough, over 27. That's some decent rainfall in that area here. Let's see, a lot of things that we can look at here. I'm just curious. I'll switch on base velocity. So this is what I would use if we were tracking tornadoes. We even have correlated coefficiency. That's when there is a tornado on the ground, and this would help me see debris aloft to confirm that there is a tornado on the ground. Dual pole situation, if you know anything about radars. That's, again, the alias. Here's wind shear. I don't see much of that, but again, I can sit here, downdraft gust potential, I love it. All these different parameters, and we can take a look at all of this when it's time and when it's necessary, when it's warranted. Just doesn't have to be the reflectivity. That obviously is the thing you guys are most accustomed to. And I can look at different tilts of the radar as well with just a click of a button. Typically we're at that 1/2 degree angle because that's the lowest shoot. It gives us the lowest cut of the storms. But if I have to look aloft, if we were trying to track things and see which way thunderstorms are tilting, we can do that as well. So again, a lot of different things that I can do here with this system at the click of a button, which is a really neat thing. As I mentioned in the first introduction, this system that we're using is the best analysis tool I've ever used in weather in 25 years. We're not talking about making graphics. We're not talking about, forecasting. I'm talking about the here and the now. Let's analyze the current situation. This thing is a beast, and I'm really happy and excited about it. Bushnell, seeing a couple of showers develop there. Same thing for Ridge Manor. And again, if you're just tuning in, we don't, no geographic boundaries here. We're going to cover all of Central Florida. So Land O'Lakes, Zephyr Hills. I know I've got a lot of friends from Citrus County, my hometown of Crystal River, and of course, from my days in the Orlando market. But a lot of my immediate family lives in Tampa and the Brandon area, and it's going to be awesome to be able to cover their weather here. I've got a lot of friends on the East Coast as well. And again, we're going to cover it all. St. Pete to Tampa, Daytona Beach, Palm Coast, anywhere. And again, if you have a specific question or something you want to know, drop it in the comments section below. I'm absolutely happy to answer that. Let's throw this back into motion. And again, I think you guys are going to get a really good idea that these cells aren't really doing much as far as movement goes. Man, they are just kind of puttering along right now. Nothing's got extremely intense. The atmosphere was really never conducive for that to happen. Thought we could possibly see a few more lightning strikes right now. But again, I never thought that this was going to be one of those scenarios where we were going to have an intense storm. It's not the reason why I came on. As I've mentioned already, I wanted to come on and, again, kind of go through the motions with you guys and, let you guys know, hey, I'm keeping an eye on things. Even in a situation like this, if I feel like I need to jump on, I'm going to jump on. For western sides of Orange County, Oakland and Ocoee and Winter Garden, again, scattered showers continue. It's certainly grayer out there, if nothing else. And the numbers that you see, again, are the wind gusts. Some of the other things that we can look at here real quick. And again, there's those lightning strikes up in the Keystone Heights area, but nothing else for us. Let me, let's do this here real quick. Let me take off a couple of the data points here. When we do have the opportunity, look at that thing. When I put that into motion, you can see all those move through. That's hilarious. Let's see here. I want to put on the Storm Prediction Center outlooks, okay? So, and let me actually just get rid of this here. So you're looking at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for potential severe weather, okay? And we can take a look at all the different days. So day 2, which by the way, they expect another potential tornado outbreak in Oklahoma. But this is one of the other things too. I'll have the opportunity to talk to you guys about what might be coming our way days in advance, and not just talk to you about it, but actually show it to you as well. And if there's any what's called mesoscale discussions, meaning that's something that's important for us to know in the short term, we can look at those. This is the day 3 from the Storm Prediction Center as that system moves off towards the east. If I take that off and I put on what's called the mesoscale discussions, if there was anything that needed to be talked about, we could look at that. You can see right here in Texas, it says heavy rainfall. So again, that's a scenario that the computer can show, and we can certainly look at that. And I've got access to all the watches and all the warnings, as I've already mentioned here, any of the severe thunderstorm watches, any of the active weather. You can see some of that down in the southern sides of Texas. So when it's hitting the fan, I'll be able to show that to you guys all live here and in real time. But again, really glad that it's not here today. We know it's coming at some point in time, right? We'll all be talking about how that's going to be moving into our area, to contend with. Let's see. What else did I wanted to show you guys? I knew there was something else. Oh, I want to look at the short-term models, because one of the things that I'll be doing a lot is when we're in this more intense activity is to look at, in the short term, what are the models showing for the movement of the showers and the storms. So, I mean, we can literally just look at this over the next couple of hours, by the way. So I'm just setting up the model to be able to show you guys that. Let's say we go from 6 to 10, and I can put the model timestamp on. The other problem is, and we'll move that banner for next time, or I'll move the model information down just slightly. We can probably leave that the same. I'll probably just move the model information down a little bit. Is now we can take a look at what we expect to see here with the showers and storms. And I wanted to mention again, notice I said I-75. So now we're looking at a computer model over the next just few hours, and you can see the time on your screen. So basically between now and 10 o'clock, what's the model thinking? Well, as I mentioned, I-75, that's where I expect there to be the best opportunity for a few more showers and storms. All right. I don't think it's going to be a situation where I'm going to stay on and cover this, because I don't think that there's going to be anything too intense, an isolated shower storm is possible. But if you're tuning in and you live across this area from Brandon to Land O'Lakes and Zephyr Hills on over towards Dade City, up towards Bushnell, and really right up towards northern Sumter County, Coleman, Wildwood, and then into Marion County, including Bellevue, Ocala, Silver Springs, Reddick, Micanopy there, and the Gainesville areas of Alachua County. These are the spots that I would expect us to see a chance for additional showers and a few storms to develop right across I-75 for the evening, but nothing too intense. But again, just to show you that this is another thing that I can look at with you guys is, all right, we've got the live radar. We know exactly what's happening right now. What is the short-term forecast? How are these storms going to be moving? Because you might tune in and you might live in Daytona Beach and the storms are in Orlando and you're not really sure, well, are they heading my way? Are they not? We can show you that, and then so you know, okay, well, maybe in an hour or two, I need to tune back in, see if Rusty's still on, because these storms are probably going to be getting a little bit closer to us, right? So that's another added feature, is kind of maybe these storms aren't impacting you right now, but we know how the Seabury storms develop in the summer months. Here's how it's going to play out for the remainder of the day. All right, so that's the model data for you here. Let me get that back off screen. And I think what I'll do here is pop back on the Melbourne radar one more time. We'll take a look at this one more quick time, and then I think we'll wrap this up. Feel pretty good about things. And again, a few things to tweak here and there, but that is not surprising coming back on. And again, this thing does so much in the background. Just super excited to be able to show you all of that. Again, we now have live lightning data here at Central Florida Weather Live, so we'll be able to talk about the intense storms and all the lightning that comes along with that. You can see that one strike there up at the Keystone Heights area. We've had some of these showers working their way through portions of Alachua County as well. And again, it's been relatively wet up towards Gainesville a little bit earlier in the day. It's now drifted off towards Micanopy and the Reddick areas here. See if I can get this loop to cooperate and come back on. It may not want to loop for me real quick. Let's see here. No, it's not going to loop for me. That's okay. So again, you can see these showers coming in. And if there was a lightning strike within this view, that's the counter that you're going to see. Now, as the model is showing, we're just beginning to bubble up this activity across I-75. Nothing too intense right now, but it's certainly getting going. The light rain continues, but it is fading for Winter Garden, in Ocoee, and Windermere, southern sides of Lake County. Again, I got to tell you something. If you're living in Claremont right now, you probably know what I'm talking about, where we've actually seen this drift back north to your area. This certainly looked like there was a possibility that this was going to be getting out of here and be done, but it's not the case. This thing is beginning to work its way back up to the north. You can see that. Now I was able to get the loop to come back on for you here. Look at that little part of that cell. There's no steering currents in the atmosphere right now, guys. We're not seeing everything moving one direction. These are meandering showers right now, and they are sitting right over 27 in southern Lake County. So there's been some pretty intense rainfall in that area when you add it all up. And it's just one little spot, but man, oh man, they've gotten it. The showers that have been trying to drift over Oak Ridge, they're about said and done as well. One more wider view of things. Some storms towards Yeehaw Junction. They're drifting off towards the south. Zephyr Hills. Let's see, we might have a little shower here trying to crop up over the Brandon-Seffner areas there. There's Mango. Here's your 75 I-4 interchange. Little shower there, well east of Tampa. Again, Brandon and Seffner and the Mango areas. Just a little shower there. And again, I have some family down there. Land O'Lakes and Zephyr Hills. That shower's falling apart. But again, boy, they're just not moving much. So it's one of those interesting things, like Ridge Manor right now. It's one little area, but they've had a nice little intense cell just sitting over there. And with very little steering currents, it means that that shower could continue to sit there for some time. Same thing for Bushnell. So pockets of I-75 going to be wet here as well. I zoomed out way too far, but now can you see the lightning strikes now? I think you can. That's me taking the icons and making them as big as I possibly can. Again, that's one thing I'll look to tweak here for next time. And again, we had that lightning cell there over the Keystone Heights area. Oh my God, that's funny. All right, a little bit of rain fading away through portions of Lake County and into Seminole County as well. So friends, I think we're good here. Again, I really just wanted to come on real quick to give you guys an idea of what you will expect to see. And I always keep an eye on the weather every day. Obviously, it's my passion. It's what I do. And the great thing about it is whenever I feel like I need to go on, I'm going to go on. It's as simple as that. If I think that there's something that is important enough to spend some time to talk to you guys about, that's what we're going to do. Obviously, we're going to have days like this where things are relatively calm in nature. Again, part of this was to just, all of us kind of get a nice little dress rehearsal as we get closer to the wet season developing and these storms becoming much more intense, but to also, again, show off this system, play around with it a little bit behind the scenes. I, love doing that. And for you guys to get an idea of what this can really do. And just a reminder that, again, when something's going on, you have those notifications on like some of you did, you know that we're going to be live. Friends, I can't thank you enough for sticking with me here. I appreciate it. I think what I'm going to do here is take myself off camera because I'm not actually sure that the next part that I have here is the end page. But I will do that right now, and I will say thank you very much, and I will see you soon. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Of course, whenever the weather is intense, I'll be here at Central Florida Weather Live. Have a great one, friends.